Well, good evening, everybody. My internet issues hopefully are behind me, and we're going to play a game. I haven't played one all week since Sunday, so why not? Um, I've tinkered around with some more with my Xfinity box or whatever you want to call it, the box where the wire comes in. I took a cloth out, cleaned it really good. I unplugged the cable portion from the box. I unplugged the power cable. I moved it from a surge suppressor straight into the wall. Blew behind it to see if any dust was out of there. Uh, and lo and behold, about 9:30 this morning, it kicked in, but I didn't trust it. So I figured it's been on since 9:30. It hasn't failed me. So I'm assuming we will not see a Belinda Carlisle marathon tonight with circles in the sand. I'm going to hope that. Good evening, Ben. Good to see you. So this is actually the first game of the Tuesday, June the 30th date, 1987. And we're picking two teams that did not appear in the June 29th play, and that is California and Cleveland. And it's going to be Jack Lazorko for the California Angels against Phil Niekro for the Cleveland Indians. And we'll get the numbers on Lazorko shortly. Right now, we'll focus more on Phil Niekro to try to get back in the swing of things. Got my charts right over here. Keep them handy. And get this game up on the Strat computer. That's the one thing I forgot to open was the Strat computer, so I can have that going for us as well, assuming that's going to open funky with what it wants to do. Come on now. Open up for me. There we go, Strat-O-Matic. Thank you very much. All right. We're closing on the halfway point of the season. Not quite there yet. Still got a few games to go, but I think when I totaled it up, once we get into the 560, 570 range, I think that's halfway mark. Right now, this is game 521, and that's where we're sitting at the moment. And for Cleveland Stadium, ballpark singles are 1 to 11 both sides. Home runs, however, have a slight difference. Lefties only 8, righties are 11. Cleveland actually won the game 2-1 real world, which you wouldn't think with these not so great pitchers you get a low scoring game, but that's what the regular score of the game real world was 2-1. Phil Niekro, as you might expect, has a high wild pitch rating of 15, a balk rating of 9, and he's +1 hold. He's a 0 hold, and Chris Bando's a +1. And Niekro will come into the game with a record of 3-7 on the replay. Real world, Niekro is what or was 7-13 with a 6.10 ERA. So on the replay, Niekro chimes in 3-7 with a 6.27 ERA. So not too far off his real world numbers. Hello, Andrew. All right, so I think we're in decent shape now. So I get this computer for Strat-O-Matic to start for me, and I think we're set now. Make sure that everything. I might be able to get a little closer to cards, possibly, and not lose any peripheral that way. Hopefully, that will be optimal right there. All right, so leading things off for before I start, California 38-38, even 500. Cleveland terrible at 27-47, but that's Cleveland for you. And I decided to still use these small dice to go with this blue dice tray, but I'm going to use the D20 that came with this dice tray. So we're going to use this D20 instead of the white one for this game. See how it does. But when I bought the dice tray, this little thing here, this came with it. So I might as well use it. All right, so Brian Downing will lead things off for the Angels. Downing hitting .313 on the replay, 18 homers, 55 driven in. I'm sorry, 19 homers, 55 driven in. He hit 29 real world. 272 he hit real world as well. He is a designated hitter. He's going to lead off here against Niekro. I'm going to get a 5-8. 5-8 for Niekro. It's a pop out to third, and Brooke Jacoby will handle it. And we're underway from the mistake by the lake. known as Cleveland Municipal Stadium. That'll bring up the switch hitter, Devon White, right fielder. White on the replay hitting 288, 13 homers, 46 driven in, at 263 real world. Switch hitter, and that's a 5'11". Fly ball left field X, we are looking at Mel Hall. He's a 3 with an E4. 3 and a 13, he'll get to that. E4 and a 9 shouldn't be a problem, but we'll make sure. E4 and a 9 for a left fielder. E4, 4, 3, 15, and 18 are the errors. 9 is not a problem. So it'll be caught in Mel Hall. 2 up, 2 down. Good start for Niekro to this point. And here comes Wally World, Wally Joyner. Joyner hitting 317 on the replay, 19 homers, 50 driven in, at 285 real world. That's a 2-8 for Joyner, and he gets a solid single to left field. 2-out single for Joyner. He is really not much of a threat to run. They will not hold him on. And here comes the cleanup man, Doug DeSensei. Third baseman DeSensei hitting 244 on the replay, 11 homers, 38 driven in. He hit 234 last night, or last night for in the actual season. I don't know where that phrase came from, but never mind. Here's DeSensei, 5'10", and that's a fly ball to center field X. We're looking at Brett Butler. He's a 2E5. 2 and 10, he'll get to that. E5. The only errors center fielder E5 are 4, 16, 17, and 18. He's got to avoid those 4 numbers. And he does just that to end the inning. So nothing doing for the California Angels here in the top of the first. We go to the bottom of the first. It's California nothing, Cleveland coming to bat. And right-hander Jack Lazorko is on the bump for the California Angels. Jack Lazorko, 5-6 with a 4.59 ERA real world. On the replay, Lazorko is 1-3 with a 5.57 ERA. 42 innings pitched, 46 hits, 20 walks, and 28 strikeouts. And the Cleveland leadoff man, Brett Butler, is up. Butler hitting 356 on the replay, 6 homers, 19 driven in, at 295 real world. That's a 4-7, and that's going to be a leadoff walk by Lazorko, not what you want to do. Lazorko, however, is a -4 hold. He's a -1, and Boone's a -3. So that might deter Butler a little bit. If he gets a good lead, it would be only a 1-9. So don't know if he wants to try that. Let's see what he's done on the replay, stolen base-wise. Might not be a smart move. It'd only be a 45% chance. On the real season, Butler stole 33 bases, got caught 16 times. In the replay, he's stolen 25, been caught 14 times. So I think with the -4 hold there, I think he's going to just lay low. They'll hold him on, but he won't try for any lead or anything like that. Here's Julio Franco, 287 average on the replay, 6 homers, 36 driven in, at 319 real world. It's a 6-8, and that's going to be a 1-14 single. Anything else, he lines it to the shortstop, Schofield. And that's a 15. He lines it to Schofield for 1 away. Hit taken away from Franco, 1 down. And that brings up Pat Tabler. Tabler is the first baseman in this game. Tabler hitting 318 on the replay, 5 homers, 35 driven in, at 307 real world. Nothing on the havoc. 2-6 against the right-hander. That's a 1-11 double. 12-20 is a single. 2 stars either way. 2 stars either way. And that's a double. 2-star double, so Butler will stop at third base, but the Tribe have something cooking here in the first. Second and third, 1 out. And the erstwhile Joe Carter stepping to the plate, designated hitter and ultimate underachiever. On the replay, Carter, 14 homers, 30 driven in, is hitting 205. He hit 264 real world, so definitely an underachiever. Angels in the first inning will play back. They don't want to give a big inning. They'll give up the 1 run to get the out. They want to limit the damage. 1-9 to Carter, and that is a single to right field. It would have been an anti-clutch, but they're not 2 outs. So the single is going to be a good one for Joe Carter. Maybe he's can turn things around here as we head towards the second half of the season. Butler will score. Let's see. Tabler at second base was not being held, makes him a 12. Right fielder, Devon White, though, is a -3. So I think Tabler with only 1 out will put on the brakes. So single 1 star is how we're going to end up scoring it. And the Tribe lead it 1-0, thanks to Joe Carter of all people. And now Joe Carter might be looking to get a lead. He needs a 2 through 5 to get the lead. And he gets the lead. He's going to go 19, being held as a 17, -4 is a 13. 1-13 for Joe Carter. And he's in there, stolen base. That takes a double play away. And for Joe Carter, if he's got new life here in the waning part of June and into July, Joe Carter on the real season, he stole 31 bases, got caught 6 times. This is stolen base number 9. He's been caught 5 times. He just hasn't been on base that much to steal. So take advantage of it while you can, Joe. So second and third, 1 out. Now the infield will come in since they've already allowed 1 run to begin with, and they'll try to choke that run off. Hello, Philip. Yes, it's working now. It's been working all day, so I'm going on faith that it's going to keep working through this, and I won't see we won't have a Belinda Carlisle sighting, hopefully. Let's see here. So Mel Hall is up. He's hitting 288 on the replay. 11 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 280 real world. They could, first base is open. They could walk Hall and pitch to Snyder with the bases loaded, setting up a double play. However, Lazorko has walked 21 batters in 42 innings. That's not a good sign. So I think they're going to go ahead and pitch to Hall with the infield in. They don't want to load the bases and put the pressure on Lazorko to throw strikes. So here's Hall. That's a 6-5, and that's a fly ball right field B. That'll be a sacrifice fly to right field. That will score Tabler. And the Tribe lead it 2-0. For Mel Hall, that's RBI 32 on the replay. Tribe lead it 2-0 here with 2 outs and a runner, Joe Carter at second. And Corey Snyder in the clutch. He's got a clutch at bat, and in the clutch he loses 2 hits, 1-9, 1-10. And I think that's it from what I see. Snyder on the replay is hitting 235, 11 homers, 34 driven in. He hit 236 real world. That's a 2-11, and that's a ground ball to third, and the Sensei will take care of it. But the Tribe scored 2 runs here in the first inning off of Mr. Lazorko. And we go to the top of the second. And it is 2-0 Cleveland. And just as a little notification I got is that supposedly at some point tomorrow, don't know when, but at some point tomorrow, my extra players from Strat-O-Matic are supposed to get here to complete the purchase of the Barnes & Noble set, and then the extra players that I'm getting for $7 with free shipping. So they're supposed to be here, and then I'll put everything together with the 25 cards and figure out if I want to do anything with them or not. But it's always nice to get something in the mail. All right, so leading things off will be Rupert Jones. He'll be the left fielder in this one. Rupert Jones, limited duty, 74 at bats. He's hitting 216, 4 homers, 8 driven in. He hit 245 real world. 2-7, and that is a strikeout. First strikeout for Niekro. And my penmanship is nowhere near as good as Spokane Steve, but I did take something from him. When I've noticed one of his score sheets is that he puts the position all the way to the far side, not next to the player, but all the way to the edge. And I think that works out good because if you want to make a defensive change, that gives you room to write in here. So I think that's a smart move on his part. And if I see something somebody does that's smart, hey, I'll go with it. I'll use it. Or at least I'll try anyway. So, all right, here's Bob Boone. Boone hitting 228 on the replay, a homer and 10 driven in. He hit 242 real world. That's a 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check. It's a 1 to an 11 for Bob Boone. And that's a 10 base hit for Bob Boone. 1 out single to Boone. He is no threat to run. And here is Dick Schofield. Shortstop. Schofield hitting 229 on the replay. 5 homers, 29 driven in. He hit 251 real world. 1-5 for Schofield. Ground ball third base B. Fielder's choice. Jacoby to second baseman Bernazard for the force. Schofield beats the relay. He's the new runner at first with 2 outs. Schofield a chance to possibly get a lead here. Niekro is a +1 hold. So Schofield needs a 4 or a 5 to obtain a good lead. And he does not do it, so he'll hold. And that'll bring up the speedy Gary Pettis. Pettis, center fielder, hitting 220 on the replay. No homers, 24 driven in. He had 208 real world. That's a 5-4. Switch hitter batting left. Fly ball center field X. Brett Butler, 2 and an E5. 2 and a 1. That's terrible for Brett Butler. 2 and a 1. That's going to be probably a double. And it is double 2 stars. So that will move Schofield to third unless there's an error that can score him. We're going to have a double for Pettis. And now the E rating on Butler is a 5. So he's got to avoid 4, 16, 17, and 18. Which he barely does, but he does. So it's going to be a double for Pettis. Second and third, 1 out. Angels threatening. And the number 9 man, Mark McLemore, the batter. Switch hitter McLemore on the replay hitting 269. 3 homers, 24 driven in. He at 236 real world. Infield is back for the Indians. They lead by 2. 4-6, and that's going to be a walk. It's going to load the bases. First walk issued by Niekro. Bases are loaded, 1 out. Back to the top of the order for Brian Downing. Now a double play would get Cleveland out of the inning. Downing popped to third his first time up. Hello, Golden. Good to see you. 6-7, and that's going to be another walk. So Niekro is going to walk in a run. Cuts the lead to 2-1. Coming across the plate is Schofield. All this with 2 outs. So back-to-back walks. First runs of the game for the Angels. But Niekro out of the woods yet. 2 outs, clutch situation for Devon White. He does lose some hits in the clutch, 2-8 and 2-11. Bases loaded, 2 outs. That's a 3-5, and that'll be a solid double or single, one or the other, but 2 runs are going to score either way. 1 to 11 is a double, and that is a double for Devon White. And the Angels, just like that, take the lead 3-2. All this with 2 outs. 3-2 lead now, and here's Wally World. Clutch situation for Wally World, and he gains a hit 3-7. Everywhere else he's neutral. 4-9, and that's going to be more damage against Niekro. 1-5 is a triple. 6-20 is a 2-run double. And that's a 5. It'll be a triple. A triple off the bat of Niekro. Joyner did hit 1 triple real world, so we're certainly not going to take that away from him. It's an RBI triple, 2-run triple rather, not just an RBI triple from Wally World. And that gives California a 5 spot here in the top of the second to definitely erase the 2-0 deficit that they had. Phil Niekro, according to the computer, is showing is tired. I'm not sure why. I thought it was 6 runs per inning, but Niekro with a knuckleball pitches better when he's tired anyway. So here's DeSensei, still a clutch situation, and DeSensei will lose a hit 1-2. That's a 5-4. Ground ball third base X. We're looking at Jacoby 4E25. 4 and an 11 should be good enough, you would think. 4 and an 11 is a G3, so that's fine. Got to worry about the E25 at third base. And he's got to avoid 6, 8, 13, 15, and 17. And 11 is just fine, so he'll make that play. But the Angels send 9 to the plate. 5 of them score. And we go to the bottom of the second. It's now California 5, Cleveland 2, as things have turned a 180 here in the top of the second inning. We go to the bottom of the second. All of a sudden, Jack Lazorko's got a good lead going. And yes, Ben, they have blown the original score 2-1 straight out of the water. And Brooke Jacoby will lead things off for the Tribe. Jacoby hitting .327 on the replay. 15 homers, 46 driven in. He had an even .300 in the regular season. 3-8, and it's ground ball to short. Schofield is there, 1 away. Zorko looking for that shutdown inning. And here's Tony Bernazard, second baseman. He is hitting .236 on the replay, 9 homers, 35 driven in. He hit .250 real world. 1-8, and that's a base on balls. That'll be the second walk issued by Lazorko. Bernazard could try to run, but again, that -4 I think is going to have him to take a pause and stay where he is. And here's Chris Bando, number 9 hitter. Bando hitting .198 on the replay, 2 homers, 16 driven in. He hit .218 real world. 6-5, switch hitter batting left. It's a fly ball to right, 2 down. Hopefully tomorrow morning we'll be back on my regular schedule. We'll have the Yankees and the Blue Jays from Toronto tomorrow, roughly 9 o'clock Eastern, assuming the internet still holds out for me. And if the internet's still good tomorrow, I've got an appointment on Thursday with the Xfinity guy to come out, but I may have fixed it myself. So just by cleaning off the modem and blowing out the dust and wiping things off and unplugging everything and undoing the coax cable and putting it back in. So it was what would happen was the internet would come on for about 10 minutes and then it would drop off and then it would come back on and it would drop off. But since 9:30, it's been on and it has not dropped. So not going. Wood, as they say. 2, it's a ballpark balk or pass ball chance. We're looking at a pass ball on Boone, which is only a 3. But it's a 2, so Boone will get the pass ball. Pass ball on Boone. And that will put Mr. Bernazard in scoring position with 2 outs. Changes to a clutch at bat now for Butler with the runner in scoring position. In the clutch for Butler, he loses a hit 2-8. Also loses hits 3-8 and 3-9. So in a weird way, if he hits the 2-8, 3-8, or 3-9, then the pass ball will be beneficial to the Angels. Go figure. That's a 4-8, and that's going to be a 1-12 single. It's only 1 star, and 13-20 he lines out. That's a 12. It's a base hit, but it's only 1 star single for Butler. Bernazard will stop at third. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Tribe not done yet. And Julio Franco, the batter. Clutch situation for Franco, and he loses hits 1-8, 1-9, and 1-10. Also 3-10. So he's got some issues there. Hello, Dr. D. That's a 1-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to the pitcher, and that will end the inning. So Lazorko pitches around the mess, and we go to the top of the third, and it is still 5-2 California after the Tribe took a 2-0 lead, but obviously that has long since vanished. Niekro back out. He'll be facing Rupert Jones. And Jones led off the previous inning by striking out. 2-6, and he's going to ground it to short for Franco. 1 away. And that'll send up Bob Boone. Boone singled. Was erased on a fielder's choice. 4-5, and that's ground ball to second. 2 up, 2 down, so Niekro settling back in. as Cleveland does not want to go their bullpen this early if they can avoid it. Hey, there you go, Ben. Yeah, I mean, as long as there's no internet issues, I plan on being on my normal time between 9 and 9:15. Toronto and the Yankees. All right, here is Schofield, 6'9", and that's going to be a 1-7 single. Anything else, he lines it to short. And that's a liner right to Franco to end the inning. So 3 up, 3 down for Niekro. Good comeback inning. And we go to the bottom of the third, still 5-2 in favor of the Halos. Lazorko will face not Tabler, because Tabler lined out last time. Or did he? No, I put a line out to short in the wrong position. That's what I did. That's what I did. That's why I look funky. The line out to short that ended the top of the third. For whatever reason, I wrote it down here instead of up here where it belongs. So it is Pat Tabler. It will be Tabler, Carter, and Hall due up for the Tribe. And we get a 1-7 for Tabler. He struck him out. And for Lazorko, that is his first strikeout. Brings up Joe Carter. 6-6 for Carter. He's going to fly it to center field. Hauled in by Gary Pettis. 2 down. And that will send up Mel Hall. 2-10 for Hall, and that's a home run, 1-17. 18-20 is going to be a double. So that is gone. Mel Hall cuts the lead to 5-3 for Mel Hall. Close up of Mel Hall with that 2-10 result against right-handers. 1-17 is the home run. He rolled a 9, so that's gone. Solo shot, and for Mel Hall on the replay, that is his 12th home run. He had 18 of them real world, and he's roughly halfway through his at-bat, so he's ahead of his pace for sure. Cuts the lead to 5-3, and Corey Snyder the batter. 3-4 for Snyder, and he goes deep. Look at this. We'll do it again. Close up again. It was so nice the first time. We'll do it again. 3-4 for Corey Snyder. And that is a definitive home run. Clean as a baby's bottom, as someone once said. No doubt about it. 3-4 is a home run. It's gone. Back-to-back jacks. And all of a sudden now it's a 5-4 game. So neither pitcher can stand prosperity, it doesn't seem like. And for Snyder, that was his 12th home run as well. The only difference is he hit 33 of them real world, so he's actually behind his pace because he's roughly halfway through his at-bats. He's got a little over 1/3 of his home runs, so it's kind of funky how that some guys are way ahead of their pace and some guys are behind their pace. Here's Brooke Jacoby, 5'8", and that's a 1-14 single. Anything else, he lines it to Schofield. That's 12. It'll fall in for a base hit. All this with 2 outs and nobody on. Back-to-back home runs, and now a Jacoby single. Brings up Tony Bernazard. That's a 4-6 switch hitter, and that's a walk. So the inning will continue further. 3rd walk issued by Lazorko. And that'll set up now a clutch situation for Chris Bando, the catcher. Bando in the clutch loses a hit, 2-5 and 2-9. That's 2 possible balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance on Boone, which is a 3. No pass ball this time. And here's Bando. 1-9 for Bando, pops him up. Joyner is there to haul it in to end the inning. But Cleveland gets a little bit closer at the end of 3. It's 5-4 here from Cleveland. Favor the Angels. Niekro back out after a 1-2-3 third inning. Going to try to keep it up against Gary Pettis. Here's Pettis. He doubled and scored his first time up. 5-7. Switch hitter batting left-handed. His ground ball second base X. Bernazard 4E22. 4-18, he'll get to that. The E22 portion for second base, he's got to avoid 12, 18, and 17. 12, 18, and 17. And that's a 10, so he's fine. He'll make the play on Pettis, one away. One down for Mark McLemore. He walked and scored his first time up. 4-10, switch hitter batting left. That's an in-home run chance, but he has weak power, so a 1-14 will only be a single. 15-20 would be the triple. So he gets a single because of the weak power. In Strat Basic, that's a home run, but not in Super Advanced. McLemore will single, but he's in good position to try to obtain a good lead. Needs a 4, 5, or 6 to obtain said lead. Can't do it, so he'll hold. Back to the top of the order for Brian Downing, 0 for 1. He's walked and popped to third. That's a 6-9, and that's going to be a 1-7 single. Anything else? A liner to Franco. And that's a liner to Franco. Out number 2. 2 down, runner still at first, and Devon White, who had a big double, big 2-run double his last time up. 6-4, switch hitter batting left. That's a ballpark single check. 1, 2, and 11 will be a base hit. And that's what we have, 1-star single. Puts runners at first and second with 2 outs. And here comes Joyner, 2 for 2, single and a triple. It's a clutch situation for Joyner. And in the clutch, Joyner gains a hit on a 3-7. That's a 5-10, and that is a strikeout. Huge strikeout for Niekro. Keeps him in the game. If he gives up a run there, he's probably out of the game. But as it is, he gets the strikeout of Joyner to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th, still 5-4. And top of the order, Brett Butler starts us off. He has walked and singled. Scored a run in the first inning as well. That's a 1-5 for Butler, and he's going to walk one more time, and that is the 4th walk for Lazorko. Butler will not try anything, but he will have to be held, of course. Here's Franco. 5-9, and that's a double 1-8, single 9-20. That is a single, but it's 2 stars. So Butler takes third. Runners are at the corners. Nobody out. Back come the Tribe. This is looking like a good old-fashioned slugfest. Franco is going to look to possibly get a lead, though, because he's got a 19 here. So Franco will try to obtain a good lead. Needs a 2 through 5. He doesn't get it, so he'll hold. And here's Pat Tabler. With nobody out, the Angels will play back for a double play, and they will trade a run for 2 outs. 3-12, and that's a split. 1-12 is a single. Anything else, he lines it to Schofield at short. And that's a 12 round the number, so it's a base hit, 1 star. Butler scores. We're tied at 5. RBI single from Pat Tabler. 5-5 ball game. First and second, nobody out for Joe Carter. That's a 2. We're checking the balk rating of Lazorko. His balk rating's a 3. No balk. And here's Joe Carter. 1-5 for Carter. Ground ball shortstop A. That is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play. And just like the home runs, I'd like to give a close-up of the Giovanni's tailor-made double play on that 1-5 ground ball to short against the righty. Ground ball shortstop A. That is a 6-4-3 tailor-made double play. The tailor-made double play of the game, sponsored by Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. You're out in that area, be sure to stop by. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They're the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play of the game. And that's a big double play turned by the Angels there to try to minimize the damage and try to keep the lead going, or stay tied, rather. 2 outs now and a runner at third for Mel Hall. Clutch at bat. Hall in the clutch is showing completely neutral. He homered his last time up. 1-7, he will strike out. So a huge bit of pitching there by Lazorko. A double play and a strikeout gets him out of further damage. But at the end of 4, we are tied at 5 apiece. So top of the 6th we go. This is the top of the 5th we go, rather. And it's Doug DeSensei. Niekro is technically tired, but he's been pitching through it. He has not hit one of the dots yet. If he hits one of the dots, of course, my house rule is he has to come out. So here's DeSensei. That is a 5-6, and that's a fly ball to right field. 1 away, and that brings up Rupert Jones. He's 0 for 2. 2-12, and that's a ballpark blast for Rupert Jones on the 2-12. A 1-8, and it's gone. And it's out of here. Home run, Rupert Jones. Rupert Jones, home run number 5 on the replay. He had 8 real world in 192 at-bats, and at bat number 77, he hits his 8th, or his 5th, rather, to give the Angels a 6-5 lead as they reclaim the lead from the Cleveland Indians. Here's Bob Boone. 6-11. That is a ballpark blast off of Niekro. 1-11 for Bob Boone. He's got weak power, though, so it could only be a single at best. And it is going to be a single for Bob Boone, but now the Cleveland bullpen starting to stir as Niekro seems to be fading. Let's look at the Cleveland bullpen. The available arms out of the bullpen. We have lefty Scott Bales and lefty Ed Vandenberg, and 3 right-handers, Mark Huseman, Mike Armstrong, and Doug Jones. Those are the available arms. And it looks to see who's got the most rest. If Vandenberg's not tired, we'll probably go to him. He's not too overworked. I mean, most of these guys are overworked. Actually, Bales is not available. He's shown as a starter coming up. So we scratch Bales. He is not available. They're down to 4 guys. Let's see. Vandenberg, Huseman, Armstrong, and Doug. Of course, you're not going to use Doug Jones. He's the closer. Let's see. Yeah, the guy with the most rest is Vandenberg out of those 3. So lefty Ed Vandenberg is loosening in the bullpen for Cleveland. Might come in after Pettis. We'll have to wait and see what Niekro does with Schofield. Niekro doesn't get Schofield, he might be gone. So Schofield, your batter. 1-9 for Schofield. That's a solid single to center field. And that's going to be it for Niekro. Niekro is out of here. They try to go as long as they could with him, but he's going to have to go. He's given up 10 hits and 6 runs in 4 1/3 innings. So he just got pummeled. He's also responsible for these 2 runners, so he can't close the book just yet. And that means we will have Ed Vandenberg coming on to pitch to Pettis. Switch hitter Pettis. He'll make him turn around and bat from the right-hand side. So Ed Vandenberg comes in. Ed Vandenberg on the 87 season. 1-0 with a 5.10 ERA. No saves. And on the replay, he is, well, let's bring him in and find out. I haven't brought him in yet, so I don't know what he is yet. But we're going to find out. Ed Vandenberg, left-hander. Vandenberg on the replay is 3-2, and he's got 4 saves, but his ERA is 7.85. 38 innings pitched and 64 4 hits, 9 walks, 18 strikeouts. So he has been getting. He hasn't been getting guys. He hasn't been fooling many guys out there, but he's going to see what he does here against Pettis. 1 out, runners at first and second. We'll finish the book on Niekro when the inning is over. Right now, Pettis is up with 1 out and first and second. Turnaround bat right-handed against the lefty Vandenberg. That's a 5-7, and that's a single 1-15. It would load the bases. 16-20, he lines out. And that's a base hit. It's going to load the bases. Bases are loaded for the number 9 hitter, Mark McLemore. They will play for the double play. There is 1 out, bases loaded. They're going to play for the double play. I had a wrong button on the computer, so let me fix that. It was not a double steal. Hit the wrong S. It should be a single, not a double steal. Now the bases are loaded, and now McLemore is up. That's a 4-3, switch hitter batting right-handed. 4-3, ground ball first base X. That is Tabler, a 4E25. 4-18, he might still be able to turn double play on this. 4-18 is a G1, so it would be a double play, assuming there's no error, but that E25 as a first baseman is rough. E25, he's got a whole lot of error chances here. 9, 11, 12, 14, 3, 17, and 18. So it's a lot of numbers that can come up as errors. That is a total of 14, and I believe that's one of them. Yep. E25 first baseman, a 14 is right there as a 1 base error. It should have been a double play to end the inning, but instead it's an E3 on Tabler. And the run's still going to be earned because you can't assume a double play, but they certainly should have gotten the out, at least 1 out. It's a 1 base error on Mr. Tabler. Base is still loaded for Brian Downing. Playing back for the double play once again, assuming his fielders can turn it for him. That's a 2-9 for Downing. That's a strikeout. Huge strikeout there for Vandenberg. But he's not out of the woods yet. He's still got to get Devon White. The base is loaded and 2 outs, and Devon White is 2 for 3. Single, double, and a run scored. A couple of runs batted in. So White turning around to bat right-handed as well. It's 2-11, and he would have gotten a hit, but the anti-clutch kicks in at 2-11. The anti-clutch on 2-8 and 2-11. So that's going to turn out to be a pop-up to short, and that will save Vandenberg a little bit. But 2 runs come in. They're all charged to Niekro. So 7 runs, they were all earned because this, you can't, like I said, you can't assume a double play there. So I bet the Strat computer probably calls it unearned though, but I don't care. We'll look at the numbers on the computer. Nope, they credit him with 7 earned runs. So I should have more faith in the Strat computer, I guess. Didn't write in Vandenberg, by the way. It was a -4 hold, so it's a -3. All right. So California gets 2 in the 5th and lead it 7-5. Lazorko's got to get through this 5th inning to qualify for a win. He comes into this game 1-3, so he's searching for his 2nd win of the season. And his team is giving him good run support, but he's got to finish the deal, at least make it through 5 complete to qualify. He's going to face Corey Snyder, who homered last time. 1-3, and that's a fly to center. 1 away. And that'll take us to Brooke Jacoby. 1 for 2 with a single. That's a 4-6, and that's a strikeout for Lazorko. His 2nd. Actually, it's his 3rd. Take that back. That's his 3rd strikeout. And that brings up Bernazard. 5-12. And that's a base on balls. Lazorko has walked his 5th. He struck out 3, but has walked 5. Bernazard Not going to think about going anywhere, especially when they're behind. And here's Chris Bando. 6-10, switch everybody left, and that is going to be a ballpark single check. 1 to an 11 for Bando. And he gets the base hit. Puts runners at first and second. 2 outs, clutch situation, Brett Butler. So Lazorko has to get this final out to qualify for a win. If he doesn't get Butler, looks like the bull. Well, actually, he's going to see if he gets Butler. But if he doesn't get Butler, the bullpen's going to start throwing in a hurry. So Butler in the clutch loses a hit on 2-8, 3-8, and 3-9. That's a 5-8, though, and that's a ballpark blast for Butler. He's got normal power. Ballpark home run 1-8. This could be a 3-run bomb that gives Cleveland the lead. That's a 12, though. It's just out of range, and it's just a deep fly to right field. And Lazorko breathes a sigh of relief and holds a 7-5 lead. Butler just got up under it. We go to the 6th. Vandenberg back out, and he will face Wally Joyner, followed by DeSensei and Rupert Jones. Almost said Doug Jones. Hello, Joel. Hello, how you doing? For you, Ben, I'll do it. Stadium groans. I can't do it like RJL. Nobody can. That was a cheap imitation. 2-7, but it was a college try. How about that? Single for Wally Joyner. He's 3 for 4. Yeah, it was a grr instead of a groan because I can't do the groans. I'll leave that to the professionals like RJL. He's a professional groaner. Here's the Sensei. 2-9 against the lefty. That's a walk. All of a sudden now, Vandenberg runs into trouble. And right-hander Mark Huseman loosening in the bullpen. In case Vandenberg can't go any further. We got righties coming up after Rupert Jones, so they may be going to the righties here very shortly. Here's Rupert. 112, it's a foul out to Bando, 1 away. Big out to get there if you are Ed Vandenberg. Here's Bob Boone. That's a 1, so we'll check Vandenberg's wild pitch rating and balk rating while we're at it because it's not on the cards. But it's on the computer. His wild pitch rating's a 14, balk's a 0. 1 to 14 is a wild pitch. And it is, and that takes the double play away. And it's going to cause Cleveland to bring the infield in. Infield is in for Bob Boone. 5-7, and that's a single. 1 to 15. 16 to 20, he lines out. That's a 19. He got a break there. Lines it to short. Franco snagged it. So now 2 down for Dick Schofield. Schofield in the clutch against the lefties will lose a hit on 110 and on 2-7 and on 3-3. So Vandenberg trying to get out of the mess. 110, and that's the ballpark's, that's the the clutch result. So once again, we've had an anti-clutch sighting. 110 for Schofield against the lefties. Draws that omega symbol. If I can get this thing to focus right. For some reason it doesn't want to focus, and I don't know why. There we go. 110. You see a little omega sign there. So that will be a pop out to short. And that will get Vandenberg out of the inning, and he's done. Vandenberg will go an inning and 2/3, and that's going to be it for him. He will not be charged with any runs. However, he wasn't all that effective. Let's see, a single, two. He got to give up 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 1. But for a Cleveland pitcher, I guess that's par for the course. It would say it's a normal day at the office. Coming in to pitch in the top of the 7th will be Mark Huseman for the Tribe. For the Angels, Lazorko is hanging in there. His fatigue rating in inning is the 7th, so he's still going strong, or hopefully going strong for them. And Julio Franco is your batter. 1-3 for Franco, and he's going to fly it to right field. 1 away. So I need to back it up 1 notch just so the cards don't get disappeared on the right-hand corner. 1 away, and here's Pat Tabler. He's 2 for 3, single and a double. 5-8 for Lazorko, and that's a 1-14 single. But that's a 20, so it's another line out to short. 2 down for Joe Carter. 4-8 for Carter. Struck him out. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. Strikeout number 4 for Lazorko. And we go the 7th inning. The score still 7-5, California. And now the new pitcher coming in for the California Angels. I'm sorry, for the Cleveland Indians, rather. Will be right-hander Mark Huseman. He's a -2, which makes him a -1. Look at the numbers on Huseman. Huseman, 2-3 with a 5.04 ERA real world. We'll bring him on the computer and see how he's doing on the replay. Now, first of all, got to put in the strikeout for Joe Carter. Forgot to do that before I make any other moves. Now we can go make that move. Huseman, like I said, was 2-3 with a 5.04 ERA and 2 saves real world. On the replays, 2-5, no saves, and a 5.80 ERA. 36 innings pitched, 42 hits, 13 walks, 30 strikeouts. And he will be facing Gary Pettis to start off the top of the 7th. Pettis is 2 for 3. That's a 1-6 for Pettis. He flew to center field. Butler is there, 1 away. And that will send up Mark McLemore. 2-9 for McLemore, and that's a base hit. Single for McLemore. His second hit of the game. Let's see, Huseman's a -1. He's going to try to get the lead. Will McLemore needs a 4 through 6. Needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get the good lead. Doesn't get it, he'll hold. Here's Brian Downing back to the top of the order. 2-9, and that's going to be a split. 1-10 is a single, 11-20 lines out. And that's a base hit for Mr. Downing. 1 star. And that brings up Devon White, first and second, 1 out. 2-5 for White. Ground ball shortstop A. It's yet another Giovanni's Taylor shop. Taylor made double play. 6-4-3. Just what Huseman and the Tribe ordered. And we go the 7th inning stretch with the score remaining. California 7, Cleveland 5. And this is the fatigue inning for Jack Lazorko. California bullpen. We'll take a look at them, see who has the most rest between all their pitchers. Who they have available. They have 2 righties and 2 lefties. The 2 lefties are Gary Lucas and Chuck Finley. 2 righties, Greg Minton and Dwayne Bice. Those are the guys available. Closing duties usually fall on either Greg Minton or Dwayne Bice. Minton's got the most rest. And Lucas has the most rest of the left. So it's either going to be Lucas or Bice. The other two, I'm sorry, it's going to be Lucas or Minton. Bice and Finley are a little bit overworked, so they're going to go first of all to the two guys, Minton and Lucas. Will be their first two choices. Right now it's Mel Hall starting things off against Lazorko. That's a 3-8 for Hall, and he grounds it to third. One away. And that'll bring up Corey Snyder. Snyder, 1 for 3 with a home run. 1-7, he struck him out. So Lazorko his 5th strikeout to go with his 5 walks. And that brings up Jacoby. 5-6, that's a strikeout. Lazorko finishes strong. They're going to cap him at 7 innings. But he finishes on a high note. And we go to the 8th inning with the score still holding on at 7-5. The way this game was starting, it looked like it was going to be double digits for both teams. But bullpens have come in and settled it down a little bit. So we'll get the numbers on Lazorko and how he finished. Lazorko, 7 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. I believe walked 5, struck out 7. So I shorted him a strikeout here somewhere or another. In my totaling, I didn't give him a strikeout like I should have. Oh, well. Either way, we go to Mark Huseman coming on to pitch in his 2nd inning of work. And he'll be facing Joyner, DeSensei, and Jones. 3-7 for Joyner, and that's 3-6 would have been a home run, but 3-7's a fly to right. Just missed it, 1 away for Doug DeSensei. That's a 6-3, and that is a ballpark single check. So we are looking at 1-11 for DeSensei to get a base hit. He does not. He will end up lining to short for out number 2. And Gary Lucas will be your new pitcher for the Angels in the 8th inning. The left-hander, they're going to be going to Lucas in the 8th inning. Here's Rupert Jones. 2-10 for Jones, and that's a base hit. Brings up Bob Boone. Jones no threat to run. Booney 2 for 4. That's 2-5, and that's a ground ball to third, and that will end the inning. So Huseman has gone 2 innings. He's got a fatigue of 3, so he's going to try to finish the game. And we go to the bottom of the 8th, and it will be left-hander Gary Lucas on. For the Angels, they'll be facing 2 switch hitters, Bernazard and Bando, although they might pinch it for Bando, and then the lefty Butler. So we'll get the numbers on Mr. Lucas. His name is Lucas, and he lives on the 2nd floor. He lives upstairs from you. You might have seen him before. So Gary Lucas is 1-5 with a 3.63 ERA, real world. And on the replay, once we bring him on, we'll get his full numbers. He also had 3 saves, real world. On the replays, 2-0 with 3 saves and a 3.24 ERA, 33 innings pitched, 25 hits, 16 walks, 33 strikeouts. And it's going to be Bernazard, most likely a pinch hitter for Bando. And Carmen Castillo has picked up a bat and will hit. And then Rick Dempsey will come in and catch. So Castillo will pinch hit for Bando in the 8th. And then Rick Dempsey will catch in the 9th. But first things first, it is Tony Bernazard, switch hitter, facing Lucas. Yes, Joel. Yes. Here is Bernazard. Now a turnaround bat right-handed facing the lefty Lucas. 1-7, and that's a base on balls. That will bring the tying run to the plate in the form of pinch hitter Carmen Castillo. Get the numbers on Castillo. On the replay, Castillo is hitting .207, 3 homers, 9 driven inning at .250 real world. So we'll see what Castillo can do here against Lucas. That's a 1 on Lucas. We'll check his wild pitch rating. Lucas's wild pitch rating 5. So that's 6. So that will be a wild pitch on Lucas. Wild pitch that Bob Boone was unable to stop. Takes the double play out of the equation. And now Castillo is up. That is a 4-2, and that is a ground ball pitcher B. So the runner on second will have to hold as it's hit right back to the mound. So 1 away, back to the top of the order, and Brett Butler. So Castillo fails in the pinch. And here's Butler. Walked twice, got a single, scored 2 runs. Lefty, 2-6, and that's a fly to center. 2 away, and it's going to be up to Julio Franco if Cleveland's going to do anything. It is a clutch situation for Franco against the lefty, and here, again, just like against righties, 1-8, 1-9, 1-10 are all anti-clutch along with 3-10. Lucas, pitch to Franco. 4-8, and that's going to be a walk. It's going to put runners at first and second and turn it over to Pat Tabler in the clutch. And now let's see if the Angels might go to their closer, Greg Minton. With the right-handers coming up, they're going to go to Greg Minton and try to see if he can get a 4-out save here. Greg Minton, the Moon Man, they called him back in the day, Greg Minton. Not sure why they called him the Moon Man. I'm sure there's a story behind it somewhere. I don't know if he mooned anybody or not, but anyway. Lucas went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 walks. That was his bugaboo. No hits, but 2 walks. Both of these runners are his responsibility. Moon is a 0, so it makes him a -3. We'll get the numbers on Moon Minton. Not Moon Mullins, but Moon Minton. Get his numbers both on the real season and on the replay. On the real season, Greg Minton, 5-4 with a 3.08 ERA, and he garnered 10 saves real world. On the replay, he's 2-3 with 2 saves, but a sparkling ERA of 1.29, 28 innings pitched, 21 hits, 6 walks, 18 strikeouts. And he's in a clutch situation here with Pat Tabler. And Tabler in the clutch is actually completely neutral. So we'll see what Minton can do with Tabler. That's a 2-3, and that's going to be a fly to right to end the inning. So Minton pitches out of it. We go to the 9th. Score remains 7-5. It's been 7-5 for the last 3 innings. So the pitching bullpen-wise has shown up as opposed to the starting pitching, which was getting beat around quite a bit. It'll be Huseman. It's his 3rd inning of work. But first we have to bring in on the computer Rick Dempsey to catch. The computer will not let me go on without that. Got to have a catcher out there. So Dempsey replaces Castillo as the catcher. All right, so it's going to be Schofield, Pettis, and McLemore, bottom 3rd of the order. Here in the top of the 9th of a 7-5 ball game. And it looks like we're going to need to slide this over just a touch so that everything can fit. Just as a recap, it is 7 runs, 15 hits, and no errors for the Angels. 5 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for Cleveland to this point. Here's Schofield against Huseman. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Bernazard, a 4E22. Oh, a 4 and a 2. That's going to be a base hit. E22, he's got to avoid 12, 18, and 17, which he does, but it's a base hit. Leadoff single for Dick Schofield. Doug Jones is loosening the Cleveland bullpen just in case, but they're going to try to get Huseman through the inning if possible. Here's Gary Pettis. It's 2-6 for Pettis, and that's a single to center field. It's going to put runners at first and second with nobody out. And that'll bring up McLemore, who's an excellent bunter. So they will turn to McLemore to lay a sacrifice bunt down. Try to get the runners in scoring position. So we'll go to our bunt chart. See who fields it. It is a 3, so that is fielded by the catcher, Rick Dempsey. And he's an A bunter, corners in, makes him a B, so we're in this column here. Basically 9 or less is a good bunt. That's a 5, so that's a perfectly good bunt. Sacrifice bunt goes 2-4. If you're scoring at home, you know you should be. Second and third now. And, of course, the infield will have to come in, down by 2 runs, for Brian Downing. Downing, 1 for 5, or 1 for 4 with a walk and a single. Infield is in. 5-3 for Huseman. Fly ball right field X, and that's going to be Corey Snyder, 2E11. 2 and a 4. That's bad news. Terrible news if you're the Tribe. 2 and a 4. 2 and a 4 is an F1. He'll make the play, but with F1, all runners advance. So it will be a sacrifice fly for sure. And the other runner on second, Pettis, will go to third. We also need to check for an error. And let's see. The error rating of Snyder is an E11. So he has to avoid 4, 16, 13, 15, 3, and 18. And that's a 9, so he's fine there. But it will be a sacrifice fly to right field for Downing. Scoring is Schofield. Going to third is Pettis. And the Angels get that insurance run. To make the score now 8-5. For Devon White. Runner at third, 2 outs. Clutch situation for White. In the clutch, he loses a couple hits, 2-8 and 2-11. That's a 5-12 for a switch. That's a ballpark blast. He's got normal power. 1-8, and we have a 2-run bomb that blows the game open. 9 or higher, they're still in the game. That's an 18, so they got to break deep fly right to end the inning. Keeps it manageable at 8-5, but going to be tough sledding for sure. And we'll close the book on Huseman. Get the numbers on Huseman. Minton, of course, going for the save. So Huseman will go 3 innings, which means he will have to rest in the next ball game. 3 innings, pitch 5 hits, a run, no walks, no strikeouts. So for the Angels, 8 runs on 17 hits so far for the Angels. 8 runs, 17 hits, and no errors. Cleveland 5-9-1. And Greg Minton looking to close it out. He'll be facing Carter, Hall, and Snyder for the Tribe. Carter, Hall, and Snyder due up. Make sure that nothing's cut off here. Looks like it could still go this way just a touch. All right, here's Carter. That is a 1-3 for Carter. Well, sometimes it's hard to see on there. Maybe that's a 1-3. And that's a solid home run for Joe Carter. No doubt about it. 1-3 against a right-hander is a home run for Joe Carter. So maybe Carter's turning things around as he goes deep. Cuts the lead to 8-6. Now how big was that insurance run? So Joe Carter, that is his 15th home run of the replay. He had 32 of them real world. RBI number 32. And the lead is cut to 8-6. Nobody out for Mel Hall. Minton trying to close it out, but gives up the long ball. 6-5, and that's going to be a pop to third. The Sensei will haul it in. 1 away for Corey Snyder. Snyder is 1 for 4. Did have a home run, though. 2-6 for Snyder. Struck him out. So Minton trying to wrap it up. He's got to get past Brooke Jacoby. Last chance for the Tribe. Bernazard on deck. 3-9 for Jacoby. Is a ground ball to short, and that will do it. Schofield makes the play. Inning and ball game are over as the California Angels hang on and defeat Cleveland Indians by the final score of 8-6. 6-10-1 for Cleveland. 8-17-0 for California. Get the peripherals for you once we put them in the computer and get this game all wrapped up. Winning pitcher is Jack Lazorko. He's now 2-3. The save goes to Minton. It's his 3rd of the season. Minton goes an inning and a third, gives up a hit, which was the home run for the run. No walks and a strikeout. And let's see, Cleveland left 10 on base. California left 12. So it could have been a lot worse, but there were 22 runners left on base in this game. And that kept the scoring down a little bit. California improves to 39-38. They now have a winning record. Cleveland drops to a miserable 27-48. And we look at the standings now in the American League West. American League West standings with the victory. California pulls into a second-place tie with Kansas City, who is 37-36. So they're 1 percentage point behind Kansas City. But technically they're tied 6.5 games back of Oakland. Depending on what Oakland and Chicago do in their game and what Kansas City does with Seattle in their game. So that's this game. As we turn the page for tomorrow morning, we'll be going to Toronto. Ron Guidry, and it's the Major League debut of David Wells. Left-hander David Wells makes his Major League debut for the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Yankees will be taking on the Blue Jays in Toronto. Ron Guidry against David Wells. It'll be game 522. The Yankees won that game real world 4-0. Paul Zuvella gets called up for the Yankees. I got to see who went down, but I did see on the computer that Zuvella was added to the roster as a, because they got rid of Len Cicado, so they have to have somebody to back up. It could be they sent what's his face back to Columbus. I'm not sure. But they wanted some middle infield depth, so Zuvella got called up, and he will be on the roster, and we'll see who they sent down. But that's for tomorrow morning. between 9 and, I'll try to get closer to 9 than 9:15. Depends on what's going on. Also depends on how the internet's doing. And knock on wood, it was fine today. I don't remember any glitches or anything. So it seems to be in working order. At least we hope so. So yeah, that's going to do it from here. Final score, once again, the California Angels defeat the Cleveland Indians by the score of 8-6. Winning pitcher Lazorko 2-3. Loser Phil Niekro drops to 3-8, and Greg Minton his third save. So I was happy to be back. Glad the internet is back for me. Hope you enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we will see you all down the road.